what's up, people? This your boy KennyKlutch coming at you. Day 8 on the 100 Days of Diversity. Coming at you live out of Jacksonville, Florida, at the Carpel's Manuscript Library here on 1st Street. We're going to talk today about filling your bucket. You ever had a bucket where you had a leak in it? You know, maybe a mop bucket, or just, you know, some type of bucket you had some water in, or even just like a gallon of water. You know, I know some of y'all had that experience where you brought some gallons of water home and you put it in the back seat. You just kind of threw it back there. You didn't really have no regard on how you placed it back there, and by the time you got out to get it inside, you wound up having a hole in it, and your seats and your carpet and all that was kind of wet. But that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about filling your bucket. And the premise of today's concept is how do you stay filled when everybody's trying to take from what you have. And today's book, we're going to talk today about a #1 bestseller. You might hear a lot of background noise. You know, it's public, it's all that, it's all good. But today's #1 bestseller is called How Full Is Your Bucket by Tom Rath, R-A-T-H, and Donald O. Clifton. These two cats came up with a concept where basically reinforced the concept about filling your bucket. And basically it's like we all have an invisible bucket on the inside, and we also have an invisible ladle too, where we either scoop from other people's buckets or we scoop from our own. But they have a keen insight on how things are set up with the bucket system. So let's jump right on into it. I'm going to jump to page 25. And it's basically studying positivity. To start off the book, it talks about the influence of positive psychology and how positive psychology was thinking in terms of previously throughout those times in the beginning sides of psychology, how things were measured based on what was wrong with people. You know, the abnormalities, assigning them a certain label, and basically just kind of casting them into a certain category, either through measurements or assessments or therapy or you know, medicine regimens, things like that. But the transfer and the paradigm shift came when the positive psychology trend took shape. So we want to take a look at that. So page 25 basically talks 3 separate concepts that all work together in tandem. The first one is everyone has an invisible bucket. We are at our best when our buckets are overflowing, and at our worst when they are empty. So I like to kind of flip that and basically mean that we have a bucket. Some people don't have any liquid in their bucket at all. You know, that's kind of like a person that doesn't really have a soul. They're neutral on everything. They don't really have a partiality one way or the other. Nothing really matters. But we all have an inner bucket, which is basically invisible to the naked eye. Second concept, everyone also has an invisible dipper. In each interaction, we can use our dipper either to fill or to dip from other people's buckets. I like to internalize that as being, you know, takeaways, things that you have on interactions, regardless of what they are. You know, for example, you ever went to a place and you had bad customer service? You know, we all have those recollections of that. But think about the times that you had great and exceptional customer service. Unfortunately, the amount of times that you had bad customer service usually outweigh the times that you had greater customer service. So in terms of an invisible dipper, you know, if you're able to compliment someone on their service that they give to you, even if they're on a regular menial job that they don't really feel like they should be on, but they give you impeccable service, you're able to pour into them and give them some added juice in their bucket, but also they're able to pull from yours to get some good influence from there too. All right, last concept on this. This brings it all home. Whether we choose to fill others' buckets or not, we in turn fill our own. Basically, whenever we choose to fill someone's bucket, you're giving away some of your overflow. And that's what we hear a lot of talk about, you know, in terms of overflow, having enough joy and juice to propel yourself into a way of giving so that you don't have any deficits on the inside, or you're at least keeping them to a bare minimum, but you're able to fill someone else's bucket that basically doesn't really have a lot. That could be either through mentorship, tutoring, helping share a skill with somebody, you know, even just a basic experience. And thank you and please goes a long way. So don't forget those two. You know, these are real things that's part of chivalry. And a lot of people feel that chivalry is dead, you know. But in today's time, you want to pattern yourself around the things that are always tried and true. Saying thank you, saying please, showing a sense of humility, being appreciative of certain things. So that's the concept of the bucket. Just a recap. Everyone has an invisible bucket. We are at our best when our buckets are overflowing, and at our worst when they are empty. So things like that, depression, you know, hibernation, you know, lack of self-confidence, you know, that's basically when your bucket is empty and you don't really feel like you have anything to give or to offer anyone else. Secondly, everyone has an invisible dipper. In each interaction, we can use our dipper either to fill or to dip from others' buckets. You ever went to a fast food experience and everybody was so high strung, they were so pushed for time during lunchtime to get your order wrong? You know, you have a half an hour lunch, you got to turn right back around and try to get the order right, or you got to suck it up because you don't have the time to turn back around. You know, and then the next time you go over there, you carry that bad taste from the last experience and you come in as a disgruntled customer. And last but not least, whenever we choose to fill others' buckets, we in turn fill our own. So I like to think of that as like a reciprocal love. You know, if you love yourself enough to give something that you have away, especially for free, and you're not expecting anything to come back to you, then it will come back to you. And that's when you get yours back tenfold, because you're only one person, but you have so many things that you can give. So make sure that your bucket is filled on a daily basis, having faith, fruition, and fullness. Those 3 F's. You know, F's is usually related to things that's a failure, you know, but when we look in terms of positivity and what we could give, having faith, fruition, and fullness, these 3 things are concepts that last to stand the test of time.
Work it harder, make it better. 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 Do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever. Hour after hour, work is never over. Work it harder, make it better. Do it faster, makes us stronger.